What was in the Parisian Freemason archives? Why did the Nazis covet their secrets? And what is it about the forgotten link between Freemasonry and Nazism that is so crucial in understanding the history of Nazi Germany itself? Not even the majority of Freemasons today know what there was or what was stolen in the Parisian Lodge of the Freemasons. The Germans were adamant on dismantling Freemasonry, which was extremely active in France, politically, intellectually, and culturally, around the 18th, 19th, and early 20th centuries. 16 Rue Cadet, Paris, 9 Arrondissement was the address of the Grand Orient de France, the meeting place of the French Freemasons. Dating back to the 18th century, Freemasonry was a safe haven for Enlightenment thinkers, intellectuals, aristocracy, scientists, artists, composers, musicians, civil servants, laborers, everyone in a liberalized democracy. Germans never managed to grasp Freemasonry with much enthusiasm. After Bismarck united Germany in the 1870s, a movement sprang in German politics to revive what they understood to be their pre-Christian roots. It was mostly laced with elitist occultism and theosophy, a theory about prehistoric super races that the Germans were descended from, as well as a mismatch of magic and pseudoscience. This surmounted to a breakaway group from the German Freemasons called the Thule Society, based on what the ancient Greek explorers supposedly called the frozen far north in its mythic understanding. Since their occultism was so fascinated by Oriental religions and symbols, they went with the good luck swastika to represent their dominance. Several early members of the German Workers' Party, the DAP, the party which Hitler joined in September 1919, had been associated with Thule, including Rudolf von Sebottendorf, Karl Harrer, and Anton Drexler. Some mistake Hitler himself for being a Thule Society initiate. It was in fact not true. He was not an official member of the society. He ripped off their logo. And by 1933, the Nazi regime formally outlawed Freemasonry and confiscated lodge archives, first within Germany. Then, after the annexation of northern France, the Nazis looted the Parisian Masonic Lodge. It wasn't so much that these Thulic Nazis coveted the treasures in these lodges, but more so the Thule Society merely saw the Freemasons as a rival fraternity. And what the Nazis were reported to have confiscated from the Parrots Lodge is the following: Masonic aprons, often hand-embroidered, centuries old, passed down through generations of initiates and Masons. Jewels and badges, metal insignia for officers of the Masons, some made of silver or gold, swords and ceremonial tools, used in initiation and ritual dramas. Columns, tracing boards, altars, gavels. These were removed and cataloged as evidence of secret society activity. These were especially targeted as proof of conspiracy. The Nazis were obsessed with Masonic paperwork especially. They believed it exposed French political networks, international connections, alleged subversive activities, and in more specific cases, they confiscated membership rolls, names, addresses, occupations. They used them to track down Freemasons for dismissal, blacklisting, or arrest. Minutes of lodge meetings, often used as evidence for arrests and denouncements, as well as correspondence with foreign lodges. The Nazis saw these as international conspiratorial links. Charters, constitutions, bylaws. These helped the authorities understand lodge structure and propaganda. Personal files of prominent Masons as well, especially politicians, judges, journalists, and officers. Masonic lodges often displayed portraits of past masters, paintings with allegorical or symbolic themes, sculptures, stained glass windows, carved wooden panels, fine furniture. These were all seized, photographed, cataloged, and dispersed. Some art went to the Nazis' private collections, some into the SS archives. They confiscated financial assets, including the lodge buildings themselves, bank accounts, trust funds, charity funds, bequests, insurance accounts, rental income. Nazis immediately froze or absorbed all of these into state or SS treasuries. From Dresden in 1937, Frankfurt in 1938, Vienna in 1940, in Paris in 41. These shows displayed Freemason lodge furniture, ritual costumes, charts, tracing boards, photographs, confiscated regalia, ritual swords, temple room recreations as some sort of zoo for which to quote-unquote expose Masonic decadence and conspiracy. And after the end of the war, the Soviets rolled in and banned whatever was left of Freemasonry in their occupied territories. Overall, the 20th century did mark a decline in the popularity of the Freemasons all throughout Europe. Neoliberalism was more fashionable post-war, and classical liberalism was lost to time. I'm Jack Existential, and this was the Nazis giving the Freemasons hell. Subscribe.